Now we have a working slider that functions when we slide or click on the controls. We can add one more important interaction to our slider, making it slide automatically. We will create an Autoplay interaction, but before that, let's create a separate interaction for the slide to go to next. For this, go to the Tree panel and select the div with the class name PGIA Slider. Now go to the Action list and click on Interactions, and the interaction settings should appear. For name, enter Go to Next. For trigger, select No Event, as this will be automatically triggered by Autoplay interaction that we are going to create next. Leave the target blank. Click on Edit Animation and a timeline editor should appear. Go to the timeline editor and click on Selector. From the pop-up, select div.pgia-slides-container. Now click on the blank space of the timeline editor to create a new transition, and a transition setting should pop up. For type, keep it as tween. For position, enter 0. For duration, enter 0.5. Click on Add Property, go to Scroll, and select Scroll To. For Scroll To, enter Next. Now let's create a new interaction for PGIA Slider on the Interaction panel. Click on Add Interaction, and your interaction settings should appear. For name, enter Autoplay. For trigger, go to Page and Window and select Load Immediately. Leave the target blank. Click on Edit Animation and the timeline editor will appear. Now click on the blank space of the timeline editor and a transition settings will appear. For type, select Set. On position, enter 2. This will be the time interval for our slides to go to the next one, and you can set this however you would prefer. Now click on Add Property, go to Interactions, and select Play Animation. For Play Animation, enter Go to Next. Go to Next is the name of the interaction we created before, which triggers the slider to scroll. By default, this interaction is only played once, but we need it to repeat. That way, the slides can advance indefinitely. For this, go to the Interaction panel. On Autoplay Interaction Settings, click on Advanced Options, and then Other Settings should appear below. For repeat, enter -1. This tells the Pinegrow Interactions to repeat the interaction indefinitely. Now save the project, hit refresh, and you should see that our slider automatically slides. But another thing is that our slide stops at the end. Now we need to make it slide in a continuous loop. For this, we should enable the infinite scroll option on our main scroll scene settings. For this, select PGIA Slides Container and go to Scroll Scene Settings. Check under Pagination and Options and enable Infinite Scroll. Now check the slider and it keeps sliding in a loop. But after the fourth slide, it goes to the second slide. So what we need to do here is clone the first slide and add it at the end. On the Tree panel, select PGIA Slider and then go to the Interactions panel and click on Add Interactions. For name, enter Clone First Slide. For trigger, go to the Page and Window and select Load Immediately. Leave the target blank. Now click on Edit Animation and a timeline editor should appear. Go to the timeline editor and for selector, select First PGIA Slide Block. Now click on the blank space of the timeline editor to create a new transition. For type, select Set. For position, enter 0. Click on Add Property, go to DOM, select Create Clone. Again, click on Add Property, go to DOM, and select Create Insert At. For Create Insert At, enter Append. Now refresh the page and check. Our slider should go from 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to 1 again. Now let's make it more interactive by enabling the progress bar. We already have a PGIA progress bar block at the top. We need to make it go from 0 to 100 to show the slide progress. We need to implement this inside the Autoplay interaction, as this interaction triggers the slide to go next. Let's go to the Interaction panel. On Autoplay Interactions settings, click Edit Animation. Now go to the Timeline Editor and click Add Timeline. Click on Selector and select div.pgia progress bar. Now click on the blank space of the Timeline Editor to create a new transition. For type, select Set. On position, enter 0. Click on Add Property, go to Dimension, and select Width. For width, enter 0. Now create another transition so that our progress bar will have a width of 100% at the end. For type, keep it as tween. For position, enter 0. For duration, enter 2. This duration should be the same value as the position of our go to next interaction above. For ease, go to linear, select linear ease none. This is to remove the default ease effect. Click on Add Property, go to Dimension, select Width, and for width, enter 100%. Now refresh the page and check. For every slide, our progress bar should go from 0 to 100% width.